A junior girls football coach charged.
Incredibly rare. It's one of the first cases in Alberta, if not Canada.
Accused of using AI to make child pornography. Plus, a Calgary family is demanding answers.
It is heartbreaking when I see my son with a lot of bruises, lot of brutal marks on his body.
After their nonverbal autistic son came home from school with unexplained injuries. And summer construction season resumes.
A disruption in an investment that hopefully they'll be able to enjoy down the road.
Scotia Place work ramps up again in Victoria Park.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news. With Tara Nelson. Reporting tonight, Camilla DiGiuseppe.
Good evening. A youth football coach in Lethbridge is facing charges after police say he created child pornography using artificial intelligence. The man is now facing multiple child exploitation offenses in a chilling case that's a reminder of a new age of internet crime. Tim Brooke has more.
Alberta's Internet Child Exploitation Unit has charged 38-year-old Justin Tillery with making, distributing, possessing, and accessing child pornography. Police say there are 2 victims they know of, but expect more to come forward.
The crux of the investigation is that he is believed to have used artificial intelligence to manipulate and sexualize photos of underage girls.
Tillery is a longtime football coach. He chatted with CTV News about a colleague in 2014.
She's always fired up. She's always eager to work.
More recently, he acted as a volunteer with Football Alberta's U18 women's team and was a junior girls football coach with the Lethbridge Rams, though he hasn't been with that team this year. Authorities won't say if any of the victims were athletes he coached.
Anytime you have a person in a position of trust and or authority, like a teacher or a coach, with access to children, it's concerning for us.
A number of computers and devices have been seized from Tillery's home. Police say many of the images he allegedly created were shared with others over the messaging app Kik.
This has been a problem that's been simmering in the background, and now it's really starting to become more mainstream.
Faces of real people are used to create deepfake nudes, but criminal charges are unusual.
This is, for now, incredibly rare. It's one of the first cases in Alberta.
But these cases may become more common as AI progresses.
That has enabled this whole new area, this whole new realm within online child exploitation.
Tillery has been released from custody.
He is on a number of court-imposed conditions, being that he is unable to continue coaching for the time being.
He's scheduled to appear in Lethbridge Provincial Courts on August 8th.
And Tim joins us with more tonight. Tim, other countries have taken steps to address these emerging tech privacy issues.
Well, yes, and that's because for the most part, Camilla, a lot of these AI companies have really been dragging their feet on the regulatory front. Here in Canada, some want the feds to step in. They believe that some more public policy changes could be made to really protect individual rights and individual identities. Keep in mind, according to cybertip.ca, roughly 4,000 sexually explicit deepfake images and videos of minors were processed just last year alone.
All right, Tim, thank you so much. RCMP are issuing a province-wide alert after a teen died taking a pill that looked like Xanax, but was laced with deadly quantities of opioids. Mounties say the pills looked like the anti-anxiety medication Xanax. Officers are now investigating the death of a 16-year-old from the Edmonton area. RCMP want parents to share photos of the fake pills with their kids. They are gray and rectangular with an onyx imprint on one side and a number 2 on the other.
And even if you don't think that your child is capable of taking those pills, they're out there, they're being exposed. Our children are being exposed to these type of things, whether you like it or not. It's important that we just speak to them, educate them anyways, whether they're going to protect themselves or potentially a friend.
Edmonton police put out a warning about the same pills earlier this week. A man who was hurt in an explosion in the Shepherd Industrial Park has died from his injuries. The victim was in his 30s. Police tell us a pressurized tank exploded at an industrial coating plant yesterday afternoon. Occupational Health and Safety is now investigating. A Calgary man convicted of manslaughter in the death of his 5-year-old grandson has been released from prison. In 2019, Alan Perdomo Lopez was sentenced to 9 years after his grandson, Emilio Perdomo, died of traumatic brain injury. Lopez served 2/3 of his prison term, and the Parole Board of Canada approved his statutory release. He will be supervised in the community for the remainder of his sentence and is to have no contact with children. A Calgary family is raising serious safety concerns after their nonverbal autistic son came home from school with unexplained injuries, including multiple bruises, scratches, and bite-like wounds. They say more needs to be done to protect vulnerable students, and they're calling for change. Mark Villani has their story.
What's that?
Pernayan Mahanta loves interacting with others and playing games with his family. He's nonverbal, but that doesn't mean he can't express his feelings.
I love you.
But in late May, the 11-year-old, who also goes by the name Tirtha, returned home from Pine Ridge School with severe bruising, bloody scratches on his inner thigh, bite marks, and red welts on his neck and arms, all without any explanation as to how they got there.
He's very much traumatized. He shared his blanket by himself, covered it by himself, and he's shaking his body. So I don't know what I need to do.
Medical observations from the family's doctor suggest the wounds could not have been self-inflicted and fear this could be a sign of physical abuse. A heartbreaking thought for Tirtha's mother, who pulled her son out of the school.
I can feel as a mom what is the pain that he's going through. You know, so of course it's not okay to see, and we are so blank.
The Calgary Board of Education says no staff member observed any incident or interaction that could account for these injuries occurring at school. The investigation also concluded that the class was adequately supervised. We are committed to supporting Tirtha's safety, well-being, and educational needs moving forward.
Our kids are suffering.
But advocates say schools need more specialized staff and more time to support students with disabilities. With Alberta's new rules on minimum instructional hours, there's limited flexibility to modify schedules to help kids with complex needs.
Because the education environment doesn't have the learning supports necessary to keep them safe and address their learning needs.
As for the Mahanta family, they're still looking for clarity and a path forward.
I need an independent investigation, so that way it come as the truth.
We need our children to protect, right? The protect place, the safe place.
And Mark is live outside Pine Ridge School. And Mark, police say they are also looking into this incident.
Yes, Camilla, the CPS Child Abuse Unit is investigating. This file remains open right now, but no charges have been laid as the investigation needs more medical reports as well as digital evidence to really look at all of the parts of this investigation. Now, the Calgary Board of Education says that it is cooperating with CPS and that it's committed to creating a safe environment for all students. That said, the Mahanta family is still unhappy here. They are going to be holding a rally coming up on Sunday outside of City Hall from 11:30 to 12:30. That event meant to call for justice and for greater support for students with complex disabilities in Alberta schools. Camilla.
Mark, thank you so much.
You're watching CTV News Calgary.
Our Gina Martin has our first look at the weather. Gina, we're surrounded by storm watches and warnings.
Yeah, it's shaping up to maybe be the most active evening of the summer so far when it comes to that storm activity. Sitting at 20 degrees right now, winds picking up from the southeast, and those winds later this evening as that storm gets closer and passes through could get into the 90-kilometer-an-hour zone. So like I said, we've got a lot to talk about when it comes to what's in store this evening on the storm front. We do have watches and warnings throughout the southwest part of Alberta here. So we're still under the watch, but if you're joining us in the Cochrane area, you're under a warning currently. You can see why. Supercell development already brewing there, and we're starting to see more of that convective activity push off of the foothills and make its way into the Calgary area. So anywhere between about 7 p.m. to even midnight tonight is when we're expecting to see the most severe weather associated with this pretty large, widespread low pressure system over central BC. So I'll have more analysis on this coming up in our main weather hit, but after we get through tonight, a pretty calm morning and then more active weather in store for Saturday. Camilla.
Thank you very much, Gina. A dump truck rolled over, causing traffic delays during this afternoon's rush hour. The truck flipped onto its side and hit a power pole near 11th Street and 64th Avenue Southeast. It happened at about 4 o'clock, and it took a while for crews to bring the vehicle upright and tow it away. The driver was not hurt, and Max was on scene to ensure power lines did not pose a danger and to check power service in the area. Replacing the Saddle Dome is a much larger project than just building a new arena. Victoria Park and the north end of the Stampede grounds will be completely redone. That means construction and closures. For some business owners in the Calgary core, there's a sense of here we go again. Stephanie Thomas has more on what Calgarians can expect as of next Monday.
The new Scotia Place will be an anchor for the new Culture and Entertainment District in a few years' time. Construction was dialed back during the Stampede, but now officials say work will be ramped up.
When you're doing excavation and tearing up roads, it's not a quiet process, but it's done during the day.
Starting Monday, 12th Avenue Southeast at the former Olympic Way, now known as Stampede Trail, will be closed. The route for a new heating line runs under the intersection.
And these next 2 months between now and the start of the flame season are the quietest in the district and allow us to get that work done before we have, those large groups coming in for games.
Some nearby businesses say it feels like construction in the area is constant.
We own this place almost 2 years now, and this construction is keep going on from the last 2 years. It's not stopping.
He wants the city to add signage to let passers-by know businesses are open during construction.
Constructions are happening, it's gonna make noises anyhow, right? But my biggest concern is clients. Like, if people keep walking to my store, that's all I care at this point.
Owners of this nearby tattoo shop say it helps that business is appointment-based and ongoing construction work is something they've gotten used to.
We don't really hear much. Like, we've heard a little bit, but we just turn up our music. Yeah, change the music into something heavier.
The project is part of the Rivers District Master Plan, with $2 billion worth of projects recently completed or underway.
And Stephanie joins us from 12th Avenue and Stampede Trail Southeast. Stephanie, how should people expect to get around?
Camilla, although it's quieter here now in the area, there are still lots of events happening throughout the rest of the summer, so there are going to be detours in place. If you're driving around the area, 11th Avenue will actually be converted to two-way traffic between the street I'm standing on, Olympic Way, and 3rd Street here in the southeast. But if you're getting to the BMO Centre or the Saddle Dome from the north end, you are going to be limited to just the entrance at 5A Street. So officials say your best bet is to drive in from 25th Avenue, or you could even walk at the new entrance at Flores Ladue Parade and McLeod Trail. But they're also going to be detours, or excuse me, they also recommend that you can take transit as an option, and there are pedestrian detours as well. Camilla.
Stephanie, lots of great information. Thank you. Still to come on CTV News, Danielle Smith is firing back over how her government is being perceived in a new report about the handling of last year's Jasper wildfire crisis. And would you follow a 10-year-old's daily routine? Many others appear inspired. Next, how you can get your hands on his new book. Also, if you have a news tip, text us at 10400. A gut-wrenching scene is unfolding on a lake east of Toronto tonight. Police say a teenager has died after being hit by a small plane. The aircraft crashed on Lake Scugog this afternoon. Footage shows it upside down on top of a pontoon boat by the dock. The pilot and a passenger survived and are in hospital with minor injuries. Canada's Transportation Safety Board is investigating. Alberta's premier is demanding an apology and retraction for a report about the response to the Jasper wildfire. The report comes nearly a year after the devastating fire. It states jurisdictional overlap with the province took away from the focus of those in charge on the ground. Nicole Weisberg reports.
Did the province make the situation worse in Jasper?
We absolutely did not.
Alberta's premier is on the defensive following an after-action report about the Jasper wildfire.
I'm very disappointed that this report politicizes what actually should be a very successful example of unified command.
The 57-page report commissioned by the town of Jasper and authored by 2 consulting firms said the overall response to the fire was a success and noted remarkable strengths in several areas. It also made recommendations for improvement and pointed out gaps. One section states jurisdictional overlap with the province created political challenges that disrupted the focus of incident commanders, leading to time spent managing inquiries and issues instead of directing the wildfire response and re-entry.
It is important to understand that this was a federal fire. It took place in a federal park, and it was a Federal Parks Canada response. So whatever it is that they are trying to do to deflect blame, I'm not impressed with it, and I would ask for an apology.
The municipality declined an interview but said the review was independently authored and involved more than 320 participants from multiple agencies.
I thought it was a well-rounded, well-conducted after-action review.
Wildfire scientist Mike Flanagan has read many of these kinds of reports, which he says are common after major disasters.
And these are necessary because, we want to learn from this catastrophic fire. It's normal for interested parties like the province to want information, but to the point where it was a distraction, suggests there wasn't enough resources and communication could be better.
The municipality of Jasper did not say whether it would apologize to the premier. Nicole Weisberg, CTV News, Edmonton.
The province is injecting $2.8 billion into Alberta's Heritage Savings Fund, bringing the balance to a record $30 billion. The premier made the announcement today alongside the finance minister and the chair of the province's new Crown Corporation that manages the Rainy Day Fund. The funding is part of the government's plans to grow savings and eventually wean the province off of the resource revenue roller coaster. Once it hits its $250 billion goal by 2050, the premier says interests would be used to cover fluctuations in oil and gas prices, to invest in infrastructure and keep taxes down. The group that targeted Pierre Poilievre's Ottawa riding in the last federal election is at it again. The longest ballot group ran dozens of candidates in Poilievre's Carleton riding during the April election. The Conservative leader lost his seat to Liberal Bruce Fanjoy. Now Poilievre is running in Battle River Crowfoot after the Conservative MP stepped down to allow for a by-election. As of today, there are more than 100 candidates registered in the riding. The majority are part of the longest ballot group.
They're saying, well, why can't Elections Canada fix this? And the longest ballot people, we agree. Why can't a third party that's independent from the government fix, anything or change election laws? But the problem is that it's the winners that dictate how the election laws are done. The members of parliament, they're the ones that have to decide it. And then in turn, is it going to happen? Probably not until it starts to affect them a little bit. And so it's putting that little pressure on.
The group wants to register at least 200 candidates. The by-election is scheduled for August 18th.
This is CTV News, Calgary.
So, Gina, we know that the storms are coming our way, but you're saying that we have the benefit of time.
A little bit, at least. So if you have anything outside right now that you don't want doused in rain, pummeled by hail, or flung by wind, I would recommend taking a moment here in one of our commercial breaks to go secure it, remove it, or protect it any way you can. Temperature right now is at 20 degrees. That is our high for today. Partly cloudy conditions right now, but those southeasterly winds starting to pick up in strength. We showed this Friday storm outlook yesterday, and it it's really holding up today. We are under a moderate risk here, which would include the primary hazards of strong winds at 90 kilometers an hour, hail up to 5 centimeters in diameter, and then also the risk of localized rainfall amounts up to 50 millimeters, 25 to 55 millimeters. If you're joining us more in the south here in this zone, you have an even higher risk of stronger winds, larger hail, and even the chance of maybe tornadoes as well. But the overall storm risk for you with the track of this storm isn't as direct as what Calgary is preparing for. We are seeing lots of watches and warnings right now, and including in the Cochrane area, which recently got under that warning. Same in Canmore, and you can tell on the radar satellite here, it's all starting to push that way, and we're getting more convection heading towards Calgary too. This whole system is going to move in a southwest to northeast direction, so not quite making it to Calgary yet. Over in the south here, storms are pushing off the foothills, but they're weakening as they track more to the east. But that's the appetizer. This is the main course that's coming later. So lots of convective energy here. Here's the center of your low. It's got fronts associated with it, so that enhances its power. You know it's strong. And if we look at it as a quadrant with the counterclockwise rotation, if you're in that northeast zone with systems like this, that's when you're going to see the most severe weather with these lows. And unfortunately, Calgary is in that zone. We see right at around 10:30 tonight. Look how sustained and intense that cell is. That is a supercell for you that could bring those heavy rains and heavy hail as well. It pushes out to the east of us, starts to dissipate around 3 a.m. and then we get a bit of a clear start to Saturday, but a second round is possible for Saturday evening, and those showers will likely continue into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday as well. And we see that on your Action Furnace 5-day forecast. A lot of rain, a lot of instability, and this will start driving down our temperatures throughout the weekend too. We start to get out of this on Wednesday, but that Tuesday will be mostly rain up to 6 millimeters and a cool low of 14.
All right, Gina, lots to digest there. Thank you so much. Many of us are searching for that secret to success, and a young basketball player thinks he's discovered it. 10-year-old Marion Henry has focused the last 3 years of his life on becoming the best basketball player in the world, and he's sharing his daily routine in a book to inspire other kids. Kevin Fleming has more.
This is where you'll find Marion Henry pretty much every day of the week. He spent more than 4,000 hours in the gym in the last 3 years training to be a professional basketball player.
Just watching all the NBA greats and the legends, and I'm like, one day I want to be like them and like be an icon to be known by the whole world.
He developed a routine that he follows daily to help him grow physically and mentally. His dad Arnold made a social media video of that routine that has had more than 6 million views.
A lot of parents reach out to us saying how that video really inspired their kids to go out there and chase their own dreams.
The two are no strangers to social media. In January, they posted a video that caught the attention of NBA star Stephen Curry, who gave them an all-expenses-paid trip to a game in Toronto where he took time to meet young Henry. Arnold is a published author and helped his son write his own book called Marion's Routine for Success. And it's not just about basketball.
Like whatever sport that they want, and just so they can have the right foundation, and make sure you always have a routine if you are going to start a sport, so you know what you're going to do every single day.
Kelvin De La Pena owns the Rise Sports Complex and sees the passion in Marion.
It's something special, man. You know, so you kind of laugh about it, but it's really truly special. He's no idea that he's inspiring the next generation. And now he has this book. You know, he goes to the U.S. and all these kids want to get his book. It's just amazing.
Marion is going into grade 6 in the fall and says his book has been included in the school library, and his friends think that's pretty cool. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Calgary.
And Maria knows not every kid wants to be a professional basketball player, but says his routine can be helpful no matter your goals. We've posted more information about his book on our website. Well, Alberta has so far escaped the worst of this year's wildfire season, but the latest national update warns the country could be facing even more intense wildfire conditions. And the fate of 2 orphaned bear cubs, from their rescue to a second chance to survive and thrive.
We lost the church, completely lost.
it's a full disaster. So sorry.
An historic church burned to the ground near Montreal. The fire started last night at around 6 p.m. with the steeple collapsing about an hour later. Firefighters from neighboring communities tried to save the rest of the heritage structure, but in the 1800s, the flames were too intense. The fire is suspected to have been caused by a lightning strike. It's only mid-July and we've seen communities destroyed, smoky air and lengthy evacuations. A devastating and fatal wildfire season so far, with Ottawa warning there is a high risk of more wildfires in August. CTV's Mike Couture now with an update and forecast for the remainder of the year.
We're at the halfway point of the year, and while Canada isn't on track to break a record for wildfires, it could be the second worst year in the last decade. There are 561 wildfires burning across Canada right now, and conditions for the rest of the summer will be ripe for more. Still, federal officials say they're ready to protect communities.
Whether that's water bombers, whether that's a requirement for the Canadian Armed Forces to do an evacuation, whether that's helping with supplying things like fire hoses, whether that's it can be a broad assortment of matters that we're concerned with.
Officials say so far this year, wildfires have burned 5.5 million hectares of land. That's more than double the average over the last decade. To give you an idea of the scope, that's nearly 8 times the size of the Greater Toronto Area. Today, the federal government announced a $12 million investment over 4 years to establish the Wildfire Resilience Consortium of Canada.
It will connect domestic, international governments, the private sector, wildfire scientists and experts, and affected communities to share knowledge, science, and technology so we can fight fires better.
But it's not a national disaster agency, which was first considered 2 years ago during the record-setting wildfire season of 2023. And environmental researchers say prevention is also key.
There's absolutely a role to be played for different forms of forest management, including control burns, including various types of timber harvesting and things like that, that can be done to reduce the amount of fuel that's on the landscape.
But Kaplan is adamant. He says the big fires we're seeing now are being driven by climate change. And he adds the best way to mitigate the fires is to get a handle on greenhouse gas emissions. Mike Couture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Alberta currently has 62 wildfires burning in the province, and 14 of those are listed as out of control. Well, there's that expression, boys will be boys, and sometimes the effort behind the hijinks is as outlandish as the antics itself. Trending is next. Two orphan bear cubs are getting a second chance after their mom was shot and killed in BC last month. CTV's Michelle Brunoro with more on how the cubs were rescued and what's next.
This video showing two cubs only about 6 months old shortly after they were reunited at Critter Care Wildlife Society in Langley.
Brother and sister that hadn't seen each other for a long time. It was very, very sweet.
They became orphaned June 12th after the mama bear attacked a 73-year-old woman as she stepped onto her back deck at night. The bear was later shot by police. The cubs took off and rescue groups spent weeks trying to find them.
They didn't really stand a chance being left out in the open. They were susceptible to predators.
Maple Ridge Black Bear Society worked with Critter Care trying to trap the baby bears. The male cub was found the first week of July, the other just on Sunday.
Just very grateful for the people of Maple Ridge for helping us get these bears into care, because it really, it's very, it's just a nice thing that they're not out there by themselves now.
Meanwhile, the public is being asked to do what they can to avoid bear interactions.
We're just hoping that we can get the message out there for everybody to please keep their trash away and close their garages when they're not using them.
Williams says it will cost about $4,000 to care for each bear.
They're all doing fantastically well, doing excellently, and they're growing at a rate that I cannot believe.
He says the male cub is now about 35 pounds, or just over 11 kilograms. His sister, about 21 pounds. If all goes as planned, the cubs are expected to be released back into the wild next June, as far away from people as possible. Michelle Bernoro, CTV News, Langley.
Well, Gina, in today's trending, we ask, are you living your best life, or are you at the end of your rope? Well, why can't it be both?
You couldn't pay me to do that. Oh, jeez.
Oh, I'd give it a go once. So they used a backhoe, rope, and a little ingenuity. These guys essentially making a slip and slide midway ride in their large backyard. Here's the interesting thing. The content creator, a self-proclaimed thrill seeker. So in short, folks, do not try this at home.
No. Ugh. No thanks.
All right, now move over, man's best friend. There's a new protector in town.
It's about drive, it's about power. We stay hungry, we devour. Put in the work, put in the hours, and take what's ours.
Gina, I know you have a cat. Does your cat work out like this?
You know, I got 2 cats, and they love to wrestle, and I'm just wondering if we added this into the mix, that would be the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Well, this is Flory, the calico, and, you know, she is putting in the work, but I do beg to ask this question. Is she skipping leg day? I don't know.
Overcompensating on the arms there.
Kidding. All right, on to more protectors. Ghostbusters were known to investigate strange things in the neighborhood, but in Canada we call... Forget the gaggle, Gina. This brood goes by the Geese Gang, alert and on patrol. This is in a Toronto area street. What would you think if you saw this on your street?
I'd give them a wide berth. I've learned a lot about getting close to geese, and yeah, they're very intimidating.
No kidding. And these Cobra chickens, you know, they're not letting any vermin run free. Although, like you said, I probably wouldn't want to walk down that street either.
Yeah, they run those streets.
Well, just ahead, they fought for years to save a piece of history that once housed history. The province's change of heart on what might become of the old Royal Alberta Museum.
Welcome back to the show here, and yeah, you can see something's brewing, especially from that southwest direction through your Skywatch weather camera here. We are under a severe thunderstorm watch, but areas quite close to us just to the west are under severe thunderstorm warnings already. This angle, you don't see it as pronounced, but it's definitely brewing out there. We're expecting that instability to start to track more into Calgary, probably right after the show is done and just throughout the next 5 hours. I'd say between 7 and midnight is when you're going to start to see that active weather really start to develop over the city here. But there's a look at our watches and warnings right now. We're in the yellow, still very close to where that severe thunderstorm warning region is in the Canmore, Highway 2, Cochrane area currently. Quick look at our radar satellite once again, and there's those supercells over Cochrane or just northwest of them. We're not seeing it quite yet, but we're keeping an eye on anything moving from a southwest to northeast direction, and there is a big system that is tracking our way. So bit of a later evening event for us. Our main storm is likely going to hit right around that 10 o'clock hour, and the rainfall along with it. Just breaking the chart here, it's exceeding it in that widespread category. So it could be heavy rain this evening. Same in Banff, they're experiencing it right now. A little calmer in Lethbridge, but instability will be prevalent in the south part of Alberta throughout this weekend. It'll drive our temperatures down into the low 20s, high teens. When we look at your next 24 hours here, brought to you by Action Furnace, fix right or it's free. Overnight thunderstorms possible, starts to dissipate this current system probably around 3 a.m. So a calm morning, but then another round of active weather possible, Camilla, as we get into tomorrow afternoon.
Gina, thank you so much. A girls football coach in Lethbridge is charged with making child pornography using artificial intelligence. 38-year-old Justin Tillery is also charged with distributing, possessing, and accessing child pornography. A Calgary family wants an independent investigation after their nonverbal autistic son came home from school with bruises, scratches, and bite marks. The public school board says it found no interaction that could have caused the injuries. Construction is ramping up around the new Scotia Place after a stampede break. New road closures in the area start Monday. A group in Edmonton trying to save the old Royal Alberta Museum is celebrating the province's decision to reconsider its future. The provincial government is now accepting proposals for ways to repurpose the site. Last year, officials said it planned to turn it into a park, citing upkeep of the vacant building was too much and renovations would be too expensive. After extensive public backlash and an online survey, the province is changing course. The Save the Old Ram Task Force is pleased that the government will consider the ideas put forward.
It's a fair process, and that it then will elicit a whole range of uses, some of which can be combined so that it becomes a multi-use cultural and heritage space.
Proposals can be submitted through the Alberta Purchasing Connection until September 26. Canadian and U.S. stocks slipped from yesterday's record highs. There are signs that Washington's erratic trade policies are still a worry for businesses and investors. BNN Bloomberg's Andrew Bell has the latest in business.
Hello there. Toronto's composite stock index and the S&P 500 fell slightly today from yesterday's record closing highs. Strategists at Bank of America said the share of global stock market flows heading to the U.S. has plunged in 2025 as President Donald Trump's trade war raises doubts about the stability of American policy. U.S. stock funds attracted just under half of total flows this year so far, compared with 72% in 2024. And American oil executives expect to drill significantly fewer wells in their vast shale fields this year amid weak crude prices and concerns that Trump's tariffs will hurt profits. One corporate leader told the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas, quote, "It's hard to imagine how much worse policies and D.C. rhetoric could have been for U.S. oil companies." The Canadian dollar traded at 72.84 U.S. cents, and it was up 0.13 of a cent. West Texas Intermediate oil changed hands at $67.38, down 16 cents. Our latest fix on Western Canadian Select oil has it at $54.67, up 71 cents. And the Toronto Stock Exchange Composite Index ended at 27,314.01, down just under 73 points. That's the latest in business. I'm Andrew Bell of BNN Bloomberg.
Well, one of the most iconic pieces of Hollywood history has fetched millions of dollars at auction. The sled from the classic film Citizen Kane sold for $14.75 million by Heritage Auctions this week. Famously known as Rosebud, the movie prop has belonged to Gremlins director Joe Dante since 1984. It is one of only 3 known to survive. The sled is the second most valuable piece of movie memorabilia ever sold. The ruby slippers from The Wizard of Oz went for $32.5 million. A Winnipeg homeowner was stunned when he learned it would take 20 years for the city to repair the crumbling curb leading to his driveway.
I went, this has to be a typo.
It was not a typo. When the homeowner called 311 in hopes to schedule a repair, the response was that it would be looked into by July 4th, 2045. The city of Winnipeg confirmed that is the correct estimate for non-hazardous curb damage due to resources. The homeowner says he may just hire some friends and fix it himself. A successful and adorable rescue mission in Winnipeg.
Ducks fell inside here and we need to lift it up.
A woman spotted a duck frantically pacing on the road. She then discovered a group of trapped ducklings that fell through a grate. She called her husband, a firefighter with experience in rescuing animals, who rushed to the scene. After lifting the grate, the couple removed the ducklings, many of which waddled directly back to their mother. Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. Coming up, we are changing gears as the Honda Indy pulls into Toronto with lots of fanfare before Sunday's big race. K-Days is off and running in Edmonton for the next 10 days. There will be rides, games, music, and lots of food. This morning, early birds enjoyed the Premier's annual pancake breakfast, complete with a Royal Canadian Air Force flyby. K-Days is the 4th largest fair in Canada, operating since 1879. The roar on Toronto's Lakeshore is back. The Ontario Honda Dealers Indy kicked off today with Free Fan Friday, part of the lead up to Sunday's big race. And while fans are excited to see fast cars, getting around the city will be slow. Here's John Musselman.
They can reach speeds of more than 300 kilometers an hour. They are fast and they are loud.
Oh, speeds are awesome. I'm a big F1 guy, so I like Indy too. So yeah, it's pretty great.
It's the speeds. I'm a mechanical engineer, so I love everything technical about it. Getting the chance to speak to the drivers, the engineers.
I watch them on TV. They're not that great, but when you come here, they're really fast.
This weekend, Toronto is hosting the 37th edition of the Honda Indy. Drivers from around the world are racing on the 2.8-kilometer street course on the exhibition grounds.
It's an amazing experience. I love coming every year, and I've been coming here since I was a kid.
This event is always so great. We bring the family out every time, and it's just become like this really cool tradition.
Part of the track includes a section of Lakeshore Boulevard, which has been shut down for this event. It means getting into and out of the city will take longer than usual. Race fans are being urged to use public transit to avoid traffic delays and parking issues. Meanwhile, back at the event, there are all kinds of things going on for fans, including race simulators, exhibits, merchandise, games, pit lane, and Thunder Alley. And of course, there's plenty of food.
There's ice cream.
You like the ice cream. Fast cars, nice weather, food everywhere.
I like how you could go close up to them. And the way that, like, you could, like, say hi to the driver, get the signatures from it. I really like it.
If you are planning a trip to the Honda Indy this weekend, longtime fans say come prepared.
Sunscreen, water, patience, but it's a good time. It's worth it.
The Honda Indy has qualifying tomorrow. The race will be held on Sunday.
And Toronto's Devlin DeFrancesco is the lone Canadian driver at this weekend's Indy, while Paul Tracy is the only Canadian to win since the race's inception in 1986. Well, this might be the coolest golf course in the world, or at least the coldest.
It is probably the most innovative and cool golf I've ever done, and I have golfed all over the world.
Golfers swapped greens for ice at the inaugural North Pole Clock Golf Championship last week. Participants played something called clock golf, where players putt from numbered points arranged in a circle.
Love it.
All right, let's check in with you one more time. So we got to put away the patio furniture, anything that's loose outside.
Exactly. Yeah, if you have a little bit of time here, just secure or remove anything you don't want maybe impacted by the storm that's expected to come in through this evening. It's been a very active week in general. And when we look at your weather window here, brought to you by Lux Windows and Doors, crafting quality windows and doors for your style, budget, and Alberta's climate. Donna took this picture a couple of days ago at 40 Mile Park, just south of Bow Island. A lot of convective cumulonimbus clouds there. And this is what we're looking at right now on your radar satellite, that Cochrane area and just regions to the west of us under that severe thunderstorm warning. We're under a watch currently, but a lot of wet weather still on the way. That will likely impact Calgary later on tonight. Similar setup for Saturday, Camilla, and more showers and then sustained rain as we get into next week. And that drives down our temperatures as well.
All right, Gina, thank you so much. And to everyone at home, thank you so much for watching. Be safe out there tonight. Have a good weekend.